I'm Craig Roussel. I'm a retired horticulturist from Louisiana Department of Agriculture and Forestry and the LSU Ag Center. And today we just want to talk to you about some things that you can do to help protect your plants in your yard, and primarily your citrus trees, things like that. So what we have here, first of all, the order of citrus hardiness makes a difference on really which trees, what types of citrus you really want to focus on if you have to make choices between protecting some and not others. Kumquat is the most cold hardy. They can take some pretty good temperatures, and they're probably going to be okay with this weather we're having. Satsumas are next cold hardy, then the oranges, then grapefruits, and then lemons, and then limes. So today we're going to talk about this little lemon tree. It's a few years old. It's a young tree. I lost my lemon tree a couple of years back, or a few years back, so I had to replant it. And what you see here is basically just a couple of angle iron frames here. I've tied them together at the top, and we're going to pull this tarp over them to help protect this lemon tree. It's small enough where you can still cover it. It's not huge where you got to go through a whole lot of trouble trying to build a frame and things like that. So the first thing you really want to do is get this mulch out. I had pine mulch. This is a landscape bed, so my citrus tree is in a landscape bed. So I have pine straw mulch. So I've raked all of this pine straw from under the tree. What that does is allow this bare ground to radiate a little bit of heat out of the ground up under this cover. So it'll give you a little extra warmth, maybe a degree or two more of warmth under there, to help protect this tree. So once you get that, then there's a couple of options you can do with the tree itself. And when we get in the types of weather they're talking about, down to 18 or 19 degrees for a couple of mornings. Friday, we may never get above freezing all day Friday. And back hard freezes for 25 or less for 4 consecutive days. So when you get that kind of temperature, I'm going to say you can expect some damage to this lemon tree, even with the covers. So the thing you really want to do is protect your trunk and your main scaffold branches here, the bigger branches. If you can maintain those, and the top of this thing or the outside of this tree get burned some, in the springtime, just wait for it to sprout out, and then you just clip back to where those sprouts are coming, clip the dead material out, and start rebuilding the structure of your tree. So that's your main thing. So to help with that, in addition to this, you can see I have a blanket down here, wrapping the trunk, so you can use a blanket of some sort, wrap the trunk and the scaffold branches some. That'll help give it a little bit of protection. Another option would be to take Christmas tree lights, the same thing, wrap these lights tight around the trunk and the main branches of the tree. You don't want to drape it through the tree like a Christmas tree does, like you would do on a Christmas tree. But you do want to just get it on that trunk and the main branches. That's your goal. Now, one thing you can do if you have a really young tree is use, and I've done this in the past, use these tomato cages to help keep your cover up off of your tree as much as possible. And you just place these around the tree and then pull the cover over it. It's just going to help keep that cover in place. And that's for young, small trees. It makes the job a lot easier. This tree is ready to be covered when the cold weather get here. You can see I have 100-watt floodlight in here. I put this in here. That light will throw off some heat. You just want to be careful if you're going to use one of these. You don't want it too close to that tree trunk because it can burn it and damage the trunk of the tree. So keep it away. Kind of keep it pointed away from the trunk as well, because the heat's going to come out the direction of the light. But the other thing, if you're using a plastic tarp, you want to keep it off of the light as well, because it will burn a hole through that plastic tarp. It gets that hot. So anyway, so once you get everything set up, you just pull this tarp, and I'm using this plastic tarp. There's a lot of people that don't like the plastic tarp. And I'm going to tell you that you can get, you may be able to find some of this commercial fabric material that some people use to cover. That's probably a better option than a plastic tarp, because this plastic tarp itself can burn where it touched the leaves. It can burn those leaves. But again, it works. The main thing you need to do, once those temperatures warm up some, you get a bright sunny day, you want to get this thing opened back up like we had it, just to allow some air circulation in there, allow that excess heat to escape. This is a navel orange, and you can see it's a lot bigger. So I'm not going to try to cover this. It takes a lot of work. I'd have to probably build a frame to get up high enough. So a lot of times I just use these floodlights. And again, I put 2 of them by this tree because it's not going to be protected. And it just, again, just trying to give it heat. Main thing, again, keep it away from the trunk of the tree, about 3 feet. You know, just to try to get that heat put out. This is an older tree. It got some pretty severe damage a couple of years ago, and it's in a process of being rebuilt, the structure of the tree. But I was able to save the trunk and the main scaffold branches on it, and all I had was these lights out here. So anyway, just take the precautions that you can take. If you use plastic, you're going to want to get that thing opened up once the temperatures come up again. And you know, even on a sunny day, 30-something degrees, you might want to be checking under there and make sure it's not getting real hot. If it feels real warm, at least turn off the lights, maybe open up the cover a little bit.